So, Fuego, what did we think of Joker? Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Got Jaime and Fuego here.
And that's right, we are here to review Joker.
Yes.
So, this is going to be an interesting one. This movie has garnered so much controversy pre-release, and I feel like we should address some of it. And so I will say this, that a lot of people were concerned, and actually a growing faction of people were concerned, that Todd Phillips, the director of the Hangover movies of all people,
And Road Trip and Old School.
Mostly for comedy he is known. He's the man behind this, and he's been defending himself and likening it to your John Wicks and everything that might empower white men to kill lots of people. He's stretching a little bit. Here's what I'll say. I think that, unfortunately, for a lot of people, this is going to be exactly the movie they were afraid of. And what I will say is that while this is a very technically well-made and very tremendously acted film,
Sure.
it's not a fun film to watch. And it's not like fun in the way you want a Joker movie to be, or at least me. This, to me,
It tries to be in a couple scenes.
it tries to be, but it doesn't really fully succeed. It's kind of like a little kid that's like skinning a fox and like stopping to tell you a joke.
Oh, is this the analogy?
No, the analogy I was going to say is that this movie is, it felt like if Tyler Durden directed a comic book movie.
Oh, I have one too.
You know what I mean? It's Tyler Durden, Brad Pitt's Chaos character from Fight Club, if he had directed a comic book villain movie. I mean, it felt a little bit Fight Club. It felt a little bit The Crow. It also felt, a little, very much Taxi Driver and the King of Comedy. Like, there's so many things, and it was a very well-made movie, but I don't know. Like, I enjoyed it, but did I enjoy it? Or did I just enjoy the beautiful, technical, well-made film? I'm still, obviously, we're just about a half hour out of the movie, so we haven't processed as much as some other people will have, but that's where my mind's at right now. That's my overall at the moment.
I actually think I've processed enough, and this is kind of the way that I felt, the way I walked out of 3 from Hell. So
Really?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's
That's
it's
bad.
It's basically if Rob Zombie was trying to direct a incendiary, trying to get a rise out of
I don't
people,
agree with that.
trying so
Wow.
adamantly to just be different and ahead of the norm,
Evocative.
and evocative and violent and incendiary and all these other things, and I'm not going to say that I disliked it as I did the previous one, because I thought performances in this were actually really good.
Compared to 3 from Hell, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like it had a similar objective of trying to make disdainable characters likable. That's all I'll say.
Okay, and that's a fair overall assessment. So let's dive into it a little bit deeper,
Yeah.
okay? We are going to do this review like we normally do, so that's our overall thoughts. Now we're going to dive into the story, the acting, the effects, the sound, all of that good stuff in turn. And so the story is, it's told plainly in the trailers, all of them. Like, there's no variance, and so everything in the trailer happens, and you're just wondering what sequence, and it's pretty much the sequence you could guess.
And it doesn't elaborate that much or change
No,
too
it
much.
really doesn't. It doesn't feel like we had that much more material than we saw in the trailer, does it?
Not a lot
it's
of
odd. It's very odd.
There's not a lot of curveballs. It's very straightforward, and
But-
just, they kind of gave us a taste of just about everything we were gonna, anticipate, so to speak. So yeah.
And so the story is about. Do me a favor and flip the book over. Just flip it over the book itself.
This one?
Yeah. Flip that. No, you got that one. Yeah.
Right.
So the story is
Check
about
it, guys.
Arthur Fleck, and this is not the same Arthur Fleck. That's the absolute killing joke right there.
Yeah, that's a more matured Arthur Fleck. If we're gonna keep in
This is a very matured Arthur Fleck, and this is a Arthur Fleck character who's brand new and not of any Joker canon that we know.
Elseworlds, yeah.
Elseworlds, pretty much, exactly. But he is a sort of downtrodden man who lives and cares for his mother in New York, and he has mental illness. Chicago, was it? I thought it was New York.
Totally
okay.
Chicago, dude.
Forgive. I could have swore they even referenced it, but that's my bad. All those cities look the same to me. I'm sidist.
Yeah, when you
Cityist.
see the like upward, the
the L train,
yeah,
the elevated train. Yeah, you're right.
Chicago,
You're right. Because that one movie with the car chase under the L train. Right.
Yeah, but I was there 2 years ago for Stephen King, and I saw that. It was gross. Yeah, it was really.
So they caught it.
Yeah,
they caught
it was
well.
ill-kept and everything, and yeah. Anyway.
So yes, Arthur Fleck is a downtrodden member of society taking care of his sick mother, and he has his own sicknesses, and people know that he's a weird guy, and basically what happens is he has a series of really bad things happen to him, and they sort of spiral him down the path that he would have otherwise been going down were it not for modern medicine and people and his mom basically saying, hey, make sure you are doing this and get yourself taken care of and stuff like that. Things change and he changes, and it's really not that dissimilar from plots that we've gotten before with characters that are on medication and then end up not going on and not staying on their medication, and what happens. So it didn't feel like a super unique film. And again, it wore its influences on its sleeve in many different ways, but it also didn't push the boundaries like I was maybe hoping that it would.
For an R-rated film?
For an R-rated film, and for a film that's garnering as much controversy as it has.
It was not shocking like tame. Taxi Driver.
No.
Man. I mean, Taxi Driver was so shocking when I saw it in film school 15 years ago. Man.
Well, not only that, but even by today's film standards, the stuff that happens is super tame compared to what we've seen already. And it's meant to, have this weight, but it's not. Okay, I've seen that. Yeah, no, there's been way more killing and way more death and destruction in other movies than in this movie. The thing is, I will say that this movie achieves over those, is I will say that this, and this is a comparison that I was making in my own head as I was walking out of the theater. Mm-hmm. So everyone for a time thought that Tim Burton's Batman was the dark and real serious, gritty Batman that we were going to get, right? 1989. That was the darkest that we got. Hang on.
I'd say Batman Returns was the dark, gritty.
Okay, but fair. But listen, they that's sort of the era, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get to the Nolan era where we get to the Dark Knight, and we're like, oh man, we thought that the Burton Batmans were dark? No, those were like comic book movies compared to what we're getting now. This is dark Batman, And this, to me, the shift from Jack Nicholson Joker to Heath Ledger Joker is a similar shift from Heath Ledger Joker to what's his nuts Joker in this one?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Thank you. Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix. What I mean by that is to say that...
then Jared Leto is completely
he's passed over because he was a caricature.
He's under the mat. And
he was a caricature. Sweep him under the rug. No, it was that sort of you think no one's going to be able to elevate Jack Nicholson's performance. And then Heath Ledger shows up and is like, bitch, I'm elevating it. And then you're like, no one's going to be able to elevate and do something completely different with the Joker. And then boom, Joaquin Phoenix shows up and does something that I feel is completely different from the film portrayals of the Joker that we've gotten. And not necessarily dissimilar from portrayals of the Joker that we've gotten in the comics, but, different enough from all of it that it is its own unique thing, but it's not unique from other films. It's unique from other Jokers, but it's not unique from other films.
Yeah, I didn't find it that much more unique than Heath's. I mean, aside from the whole bait and switch aspect. You know, the fact that he kept saying over and over throughout The Dark Knight, he was like, okay, this is my origin of how I became this, and then this is, and then he just, you know, all of those.
But
like,
with the uncontrollable laughter, like, I think that added a serious dimension.
I thought there was, yeah, very effective. And then also with his mother, I thought that was like, you know, just... especially in some of the things that happen later, you know, which we can't get into.
Played by an actress made very large, in my opinion, by the American Horror Story series.
Truly indeed. Yeah.
I forgot. I didn't even realize it was her until we saw the movie. I was like, oh, it's her.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she was featured in the first trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Joaquin is going to get some consideration. There's a reason that this 100% won Venice.
Worthy of it.
I'm not going to say it's as inflammatory as people are saying it is. And I'm not going to say it's as good as a lot of people say it is.
That's
you know,
true.
That is the burden of the hype machine and everything. And I was enthralled by certain aspects of it. If we're just going to circle back to, you know, end of the story before we segue into like all the acting proper. But I felt like the third act lost the seriousness and it just did not do it for me. So, yeah.
I was hoping they were going to go a different direction in the third act than we got.
Same.
Yeah. And they even alluded to a direction that the third act might go early on, and I was like, well, that would be interesting, but still not what I want. Mm-hmm. And it kind of didn't do either one, and I was like, okay, like I get what we're doing, but they start to play some tricks, some movie tricks, and like you don't know necessarily what to believe at times, and so
especially with one other scene earlier in
right,
the film,
exactly.
too.
Well, with that happening, that's what throws everything out of whack.
Same.
But yeah, I could see why that would frustrate some people, because asking those kinds of loose questions that we can't even tell you what questions they're asking outside of the fact that it's like came out of nowhere and like, really? We're doing this? And it was just a little surprising and not super well executed, unfortunately, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So the movie itself was well made. It was beautifully shot, and the other big thing was the acting. It was wonderfully acted by everyone with the script that they were given. I don't necessarily agree with how the script played out as far as being super entertaining, because it was really just... It was a drain on the soul, this movie, and there weren't... Outside of the filmmaking, there weren't a lot of redeemable aspects to it.
Yeah, and that aspect, it might be pros and cons on Todd Phillips, you know, because of the fact that he, like, got his actors, like, just reared and ready for the performance aspect, but didn't give them the most compelling, you know, story beats to, you know, put forth on screen and stuff. So, you know, he got them primed to perform, but was there that much to actually do? Yeah. That's debatable.
And the last part of the story that I'll say, while I don't think they stuck the third act, I do think that a lot of the third act was interesting. I was glued to the screen. And I have to say also that I was engaged with the movie from the first scene. Like, from then on, I was like, this movie's really engaging. Like, I'm really into what's going on, even though it's what a lot of people might consider a slow movie. But I was still really engaged.
It didn't feel its runtime for me.
Yeah, it didn't quite feel it for me. It felt a little bit that way in the middle when I'm like, okay, can we get to the more jokery stuff, please?
Yeah, about 2/3 of the way, maybe for a slight bit. But for the most part, no. I did not think it was an over 2-hour film. So.
But the acting for you, Fuego.
Joaquin, man, you know, he gave such an amazing performance 2/3 of the way. And then in the third act, I felt like he segued into what I was anticipating, and the lack of vulnerability as opposed to like, and I mean, I don't know what else I can really say as far as crossing that threshold that we all anticipate that he's going to get past, but
he's not as sympathetic a character as you need a protagonist to be.
No, and he wasn't, and initially you think he's gonna be, but yeah, it does turn more so into the taxi driver aspect where you're like, okay, he's a hermit, he's a weirdo, he doesn't have many friends, he's trying to date, he's strange, but yeah, there's a reason why, and it becomes apparently evident. And yes, especially with one particular thing that we see in the second act with Zazie Beetz that I can't spoil, but it puts everything into perspective that we see in the trailer. So, yeah.
So, yeah, the acting is good. I agree. I mean, obviously, Joaquin does a kick-ass job. Zazie Beetz, for the amount of screen time that she gets, does a good enough job. everyone else, you know, Robert De Niro has a much more substantial role than I thought he would, honestly, but he does a great job. So
he gets the most screen time aside from Joaquin, man.
Really,
nobody
he pretty
else
much
really
does.
gets much of anything
No.
aside from his mother.
No. So it's weird. It's a mixed bag. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but the
entire
effects,
film kind of is.
I would say the effects are all well done, although I'm getting to the point where I'm like, do we need all these little CG blood spurts? Everyone is adding CG blood spurts when, like, there's violence going on. Like, if someone is getting their face punched heavily, there's got to be, like, a CG blood spurt up at the person doing the punching.
Dude, it's
Someone's
like I'm in Streets of Rage or something.
It's
you know?
crazy.
It's like,
It doesn't look real when it happens. Like, there's an even spray every single time there's an impact, and it's like, no, that's not how things work.
And it's all
so
the
I
kids
felt
who
like,
played those video games.
unfortunately, I felt like the CG additional blood that happened at times was not good. Everything that we got that was practical looking, I thought worked. But there wasn't even that much. It was more makeup effects.
Yeah, I mean, really, the R rating comes from, like, some scant violence and some F-bombs.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah, honestly, this movie is barely an R-rated.
This probably could have been a PG-13.
Outside of the mean-spiritedness, the extra cursing, and the blatant violence at times, you know. There is blatant violence.
Yeah, and some of the suggestive, like, themes.
But otherwise, the violence that happens at times that's meant to be intense, like when he gets his ass kicked in the alley, which you see in the trailer, when that happens after he gets busted on by the sign, that's not even that vicious feeling at all. Like,
not at all.
Like it doesn't.
PG-13,
it's not proportionate. The violence, you know, given to him is not proportionate to the violence that's portrayed later. It's so weird.
And that's where, like, being the fact that we're supposed to sympathize, I didn't sympathize, and yet I didn't cheer that much.
Yeah,
I was kind of more in the indifferent side.
Yeah, and when it ended, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how I felt. Okay, I don't need to see more of this Joker. If I do, okay. Like, I liked,
and I think that's probably the worst reaction that they would want,
yeah, that's
right?
not
because
good. No, you want to love it, you want to hate it. You don't want to be apathetic.
Or just like, oh, fuck
they
yeah,
do something.
Joker.
They do something that they kind of, like, smart people and people that could pick up on some things were like, ooh, they might do this in the movie. They do this in the movie, but they don't even focus on it in such a way, and we can't talk about what it is, but it does happen in the third act, and it does.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
is it the hospital?
No,
okay.
No, but it's the thing that touches on something else that you might not expect it to actually fully touch on. But when it comes to some of the people that he's influenced throughout the movie,
well, I mean, can I say we saw it in the trailer?
No, we can't. No.
It's in the trailer.
No, it's not. It's not explicitly in the trailer.
Kind of is.
No, it's not. So we can't say it.
This is still in the review. I want to talk about it, and we're not going to.
No, because it's not. We can't explicitly say that. That's like the one surprise some people might get out of this movie.
Really?
Yes! Really?
Sorry.
No, yes, really, because it's not even explicitly said who everyone is in the movie. It's not. So, no, we're not going to say that, but it's not even that well done. That's the point. It's not even that well done.
It's actually very poorly done.
No, it's very poorly done.
Which is why I wanted to compare it.
Well, we can talk about it, but we can't say what it is.
It's why I wanted to compare it to another property that does it far better.
Well, no, we can't do that.
Actually, no, like moderately better.
No, we can't do that.
Not even that.
We can't do that.
They have a TV show.
We can't do that.
Sorry.
We can't do that!
I'm trying.
God damn it, man! All right, so...
I'm sorry, Cecil.
Jesus. You just don't listen. No. So, guys...
We didn't listen!
It's a weird mixed bag for us. A lot of people are glowing about this movie. They're saying it's fantastic. They're saying it's one of their favorites of 2019. And it's like... Okay. I don't know. Not for me.
Same.
So... Take it for what it is. I mean, you know, we're going to upset a lot of commenters. Because there's a lot of them that like to agree with you versus me. And there's...
Well, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, we're in the same boat. So now what are they going to do?
Just like we
hate you both!
Yeah, just
you
like
should have loved this movie.
3 from Hell. I mean, should we have loved 3 from Hell as well?
Yeah, no, it's because we're assholes for not liking 3 from Hell. We're assholes for not liking the Lighthouse trailer.
Honestly, I would imagine the same people who like 3 from Hell will love the flip out of the Joker.
There's going to be a lot of people that like Joker. There is, but I don't think it's as unique and groundbreaking as some of these people are like making it out to be. It's really not. It wears its influences all over itself.
I will contend it's a personal taste kind of thing,
Yeah.
and it is very much so performance based and very little like character motivation, story progression, anything of that nature. It's really like a lot of hot beats. Well, no.
There's character motivation and story progression, but it's not much. It's not much.
A very moderate amount. It's not like the most massive extent. And
it feels like there's some beats skipped.
Being Todd Phillips, and the fact that I loved his comedic output and about 15 years ago, yeah.
Go back to comedy, Todd.
Yeah, maybe. Although he said that he moved to this because of the fact that he
can't make comedies anymore in this day and age.
Yeah, because it's all the Me Too movement. Whatever. And Time's Up and so on and so forth.
Sick.
You can't be nasty anymore.
Yeah.
Hey, I showed up for the gangbang. That's what he says in. Anyway, old school.
Great.
Gangbangs are old school.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and end that review right there, you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, before we do that, if you enjoyed the video, click the like button. If you disagreed with us and didn't like the video, click that dislike button. You're only going to be helping the channel anyway.
Yes, please interact.
Comment down below with why you thought what you thought about the movie, but don't spoil it. We tried not to, so make sure you don't as well. This guy wanted to, but I tried to keep him under wraps.
You really did.
So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
And gracias, I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared
of the Joker.